Take me to your paradise. 천국 문이 닫힌다. 별이 쏟아지는다. Kiss me in the cold moonlight. 빨리 꺼내줘. 나를 데려가줘. My home.
Hello everyone, this is Sugawara's Fist and welcome back to another video. I'm back. I'm so sorry if this took so long. Everything has just been so stressful, but school is done, so I'm gonna try to post more videos. I hope y'all enjoy this video. Iwaya. In real life, Oikawa turned around and leaned his arms to the backrest of his floor chair. He was actually watching a volleyball match earlier, but after he got that message notification from the group chat, he couldn't even focus on it. He's actually very excited for this prank. I mean, he's always excited for pranks, especially if it's pranking his boyfriend. Oikawa dials Iwajumi's number while rocking the floor chair he's currently sitting on. 15 minutes have passed and Iwajumi still hasn't answered Oikawa's calls. The big grin that was on Oikawa's face has already disappeared. Oikawa let out a deep sigh and tried to call Iwajumi for the last time. He still didn't answer. I hate you, Iwa-chan. Oikawa threw his phone on his bed and started sulking like a little kid. He grabs his earphones, wears them, and starts to watch the volleyball match that he didn't get to finish earlier. How dare he not answer my calls? I swear, if he calls me back I'm just gonna ignore the shit out of. Oikawa's phone started to ring and the guy who was just saying that he's planning to play hard to get towards his boyfriend is now hurriedly crawling towards his phone to see if it's his dear Iwa-chan who's calling. It is him. Oikawa answered the call, pressed the speaker button and flopped on the mattress. Iwa-chan. Oikawa yells in an angry sulky tone. I saw your missed calls, sorry. Yeah, my 20 missed calls. I'm sorry Toru, I was taking a bath. Lies. I was taking a bath, babe. Prove it. What? Send a pic. You're a pervert. No I'm not. You literally stare at me all the time when we change in the locker room. I think you've had enough of my body. First of all, I will never get enough of your bod, Iwa-chan. Second, how did you know that I was staring at you? By chance, were you also staring at my flawless body? Maki told me. That bitch. Anyways, what did you want to tell me? Can you please come over, Iwa-chan? Why should I? I miss you. I want to cuddle with you, Iwa-chan. Okay. I'm craving physical touch. And then? Hajime. Iwajumi chuckles, earning a pout from Oikawa, who was already sitting up and slouching his back. Fine, I'm coming over. Yay. Why would you even think that I'd take a bath at 8 in the evening just because I want to? I don't know, maybe I'm dating a hygienic person? I was about to come over, Oikawa. Aw, really Iwa-chan? Yes. Why though? Do you miss me? Yeah, why would I even come over if I don't miss you? Iwajumi let out a giggle and continued to dress himself while waiting for Oikawa to say something. Toru, you still there? Iwajumi flinches after hearing a high-pitched muffled scream from the other line. Oikawa just hit an Ariana Grande note, bitch. Oikawa, what's wrong? Nothing, I'm fine, Iwa-chan. You sure? Yep. So please come over now, blowing a kiss. Okay. I'm hanging up, see you babe. Love you. I love you too. Iwajumi hangs up the call and Oikawa begins to squirm around his bed while covering his blushing face. I am so whipped for Iwa-chan. Oikawa thinks to himself as he continuously smacks his head with a pillow while screaming inaudibly. Toru. Oikawa immediately shuts up after hearing his mom's thunder-like scream and clears his throat after. Sorry. What are you even screaming for? Iwa-chan is coming over. Mom. Oh please Toru, you give Hajime a good night kiss every time he sleeps over. Oikawa screams with his two hands covering his ears, those childhood memories of him obviously having a crush on Iwaizumi are torture for him. After screaming for about 10 seconds, Oikawa stopped and slowly uncovered his ears only to hear the sound of his mom's faint laughter coming from downstairs. Oikawa pouted and started to think to himself, am I really that in love with Iwa-chan? He thinks again. I probably am. He frowned for a second, but then flashed a smile to the ceiling. Meh, who cares, it's Iwa-chan. He kicks his feet up to the air to help him sit up on the mattress. Now where do I hide my phone? He looks around his room and squints at every corner. This is not the first time that he did a similar prank on Iwaizumi. Oikawa has probably done 3 different pranks and has successfully recorded all of them. One example is when he told Iwaizumi that he was transferring to Shiraiterizawa one day. Were in second year, Maki and Matsun almost peed themselves while watching Iwaizumi's funny reactions on Oikawa's phone. He stands up and starts to pace around his room. He needs to be smart this time. Where should he hide his phone? He starts to hum with his hand under his chin. He was getting a little nervous since Iwaizumi's house is not that far from his. His gaze suddenly got glued onto the part of the wall above the door of his room. He looked at his study table and saw a masking tape. He paced his eyes back and forth to these 2 things, and he smirks to himself. This prank is gonna be so perfect. ... Iwaizumi walks towards the Oikawa residence, while emitting an intimidating aura. He doesn't know that he's hot shit, but we all know he's shot shit. He walked to the door and pressed the doorbell beside it. He rested his hands on his sweatpants pocket and started to tap his feet on the cement. After a few seconds, the door starts to open and he grins expecting his boyfriend to greet him with a hug, but his smile fades a little when he sees Toru's mom instead. As if on cue, Iwaizumi immediately changes his posture from an "I'll make you fall in love with me" vibe to an "Auntie, I'm here to pick up your son one. Good evening Auntie." Iwaizumi beams a smile and Oikawa's mom just bursts out laughing. Are you disappointed to see me? Oh gosh Auntie, I'm so sorry. Don't be. The only time you'll say sorry to me is if something bad happens to my son. That'll never happen Auntie. I sure do hope so. A motherly smile appears on Mrs. Oikawa. Speaking of that ungrateful brat, he's upstairs, in his room. Iwaizumi bursts out laughing before doing a 90 degrees bow and receiving a shoulder pat from Toru's mother. Come on in, I heard some rustling in his room so he's probably doing some fishy things there. Iwaizumi leaves his flip-flops in front of the house. Before stepping inside, Mrs. Oikawa walks behind him and closes the door before swiftly walking towards the kitchen, with Iwaizumi barely catching up on her. I'll make sure that the house doesn't burn Auntie. Mrs. Oikawa chuckles and lightly smacks Iwaizumi's shoulder. You're really a funny kid. Iwaizumi gives another smile to her before walking up the stairs to Oikawa's room. He is kinda disappointed that it wasn't his boyfriend that greeted him earlier, but he's more worried about the fact that he can't hear any sound coming from Oikawa's room. Is he asleep? No, he's probably watching a lot of volleyball matches again. Iwaizumi shakes his head, ready to scold his boyfriend to stop pressuring himself, and opens the door. A frown immediately grew on his face when he was greeted by Oikawa, who was flipping through a comic book. A comic book? That's new. Iwaizumi enters the room and closes the door afterwards. The moment Oikawa landed his eyes on Iwaizumi, the latter expected a loud whiny Iwa-chan but got nothing. Oikawa just glanced at Iwaizumi for a second and went back to reading his manga. Iwaizumi's brows furrowed and he felt a mix of annoyance and confusion. His face went what the fuck as he's crossing his arms while staring at Oikawa, who calmly kept on reading the book. Oi. Iwaizumi deadpanned and slowly sat on Oikawa's mattress without breaking his gaze on Oikawa. Iwaizumi kept on squinting his eyes, trying to find out if he pissed Oikawa off, but he's pretty sure that Oikawa won't get mad and ignore him just because he didn't get to answer any of Oikawa's 20 missed calls. Is he having a bad day? Is he sulking, for real? Is this the cue for me to comfort him and cuddle him? Does he want me to leave? Iwaizumi's mind is going insane. Toru. No reaction. Babe. Iwaizumi said, and Oikawa still continued to ignore him. The shorter boy doesn't have any problems with calling his boyfriend pet names, but it's awkward when you're the only one saying it, and your usually clingy boyfriend is being awfully quiet. Iwaizumi starts to scooch over to where Oikawa is sitting while trying to get a glimpse of what he's reading. Iwaizumi intentionally bumps his arms on Oikawa's and hovers his head closer to Oikawa's cheeks, in hopes of grabbing his attention and also trying to find out what's going on in the manga he's reading. Iwaizumi frowns when he sees a page of the manga, showing someone running around with a decapitated head. Gore. Oikawa Toru is reading a gore manga? Iwaizumi glances at Oikawa and he knows Oikawa enough to know that the boy is totally not enjoying the manga. Baby, why are you reading this? Oikawa continues to flip through the pages, ignoring his boyfriend's question. Iwaizumi leans back and looks at Oikawa with a confused expression. Why was he getting ignored before? The most common reasons were either his girlfriend broke up with him or Iwaizumi did something that made Oikawa sad, but that was before they started dating, and as long as Iwaizumi remembers, he didn't do anything that would make Oikawa sad. Are you mad because I didn't answer your calls? Iwaizumi asks with a tone nobody has ever heard before, except for the great king, of course. It was so loving and sweet. Who thought this Godzilla-loving warrior can be so sweet and wholesome with his childhood best friend/boyfriend? I'm so sorry, baby. Iwaizumi hovers back to Oikawa and wraps his arm around Oikawa's shoulder. He leaned his face towards Oikawa's neck and lightly rubbed his nose against it. It tickled Oikawa a little, but he's still dead focused on the manga. Iwaizumi took a deep breath and continued to rub his cheeks against Oikawa's shoulder. Toru, baby. Iwaizumi stares at Oikawa with a slightly pouty gaze as he slides his arm down to Oikawa's waist and tugged him closer. Iwaizumi is slightly worried that he might have angered his boyfriend so much, but Oikawa, he's having the best time of his life. Come on, I'm so sorry, love. Oikawa bites his lips in an attempt to stop the erupting laughter inside him, but he fails. Bahahahaha Iwa-chan, oh my goodness. Oikawa starts to lean back and forth while smacking his knees, while still laughing uncontrollably. What? It was a prank, Hajime. Oikawa points behind Iwaizumi and the latter turns his head around with furrowed brows, and his eyes widened when he saw Oikawa's phone, taped on the wall. What the? Why the fuck is your phone up there? It's called being creative and smart, Iwa-chan. Oikawa stood up and walked towards his phone. Iwaizumi was just there, sitting, confused as fuck. You taped your phone on the wall for a fucking prank? Yeah. Oikawa starts to peel off the tapes with the wide grin still on his face. I thought that you might have caught up on what I was about to do, since I pranked you for like 100 times now. I tried so hard to hide my phone so that I could record it. But, turns out, I didn't have to try that hard cause you're too whipped for me to even notice that I was doing a prank. Oikawa winked at Iwaizumi and batted his eyelashes while tiptoeing and peeling off the leftover tape on his wall. Iwaizumi stared at Oikawa in disbelief while the latter just continued to giggle. You asshole! Were all the words Iwaizumi managed to say. Oikawa laughed even more and lunged himself towards his boyfriend. Sorry, Iwa-chan. Oikawa hugs Iwaizumi and buries his face on the boy's stomach. Iwaizumi was still speechless while Oikawa was just clinging onto his slightly pissed boyfriend. Now why would you do that shit? Oh come on Iwa, it was just a fun prank. Iwaizumi narrows his eyes and flicks Oikawa's forehead with his middle finger. Ouch. Oikawa whines and pouts at Iwaizumi while rubbing his forehead that's slowly turning red. That hurts Iwa-chan. Iwaizumi snickers and hugs Oikawa back. Don't do that shit again. I'm making no promises Iwa. Iwaizumi frowns. He pulls away from the hug and flicks Oikawa's forehead for the second time. Ouch, that hurts, I said. Iwaizumi chuckles and pulls Oikawa into a hug once again. Oikawa's pout got bigger and he tried to push Iwaizumi away but the latter didn't let go. I just did a prank and you're already abusing me. Don't be dramatic, it's just a little forehead flick. But it still hurts. Then what do you want me to do? Oikawa's eyes started to glow and he smirked. He pulled away from the hug and sat properly in front of Iwaizumi. He lightly taps his boyfriend while having this pleading expression. Iwaizumi frowns in confusion, not knowing what Oikawa wants him to do. Kiss. What? Kiss, here. Oikawa tapped his forehead and scrunched his shoulder. Iwaizumi giggles and Oikawa bites his bottom lip. Waiting for the kiss he's asking for. See mir. Oikawa scooted closer to Iwaizumi and closed his eyes. Iwaizumi smiles and caresses Oikawa's cheek. He kneels and gives Oikawa's forehead a light peck. There. Oikawa smiled and tackled Iwaizumi to the floor. Hey, what are you doing? Love you Iwa-chan. Oikawa rubs his cheeks on Iwaizumi's chest, with the smile on his lips still there. Iwaizumi grins. And starts to pet Oikawa's head. I love you too. AoFuta. Futakuka goes straight to his private message with Ione. His boyfriend is very dense and oblivious, and that's actually what he likes the most about him, but it can backfire sometimes. Kenji would sometimes tease Ione and him, being the oblivious one in the relationship, wouldn't notice that Futakuka is trying to tease him by giving him hugs and kisses. Ione thought that this was just his boyfriend, trying to be sweet and all. He was told that when someone does that, he should also do the same, so he did. Ione hugged and kissed Futakuka that day and the latter almost passed out, but for the record, Ione is naturally sweet towards everyone, especially Kenji, so when he does these sweet and loving things to Kenji, the captain doesn't almost pass out because of shock, it's because of this overwhelming happiness that constantly shooks his heart. Futakuka and Ione private message. Taka. Hello Kenji. What ya doing? Reading. You having fun? Yes. Do you wanna know what's more fun? Yes, what is it? Come over and I'll tell you winking face. Sure. See you Taka, love you heavy black heart. I love you too smiling face with smiling eyes. Futakuka closed his phone and carefully placed it on the table beside him. He sits up, takes a deep breath, oh my god. He starts to squirm around his bed while screaming endlessly. He kept on screaming until his younger sister slammed his door open. Oh Ni-chan, shut up. No. Why? Taka gave me a smiley emoji. ... He did. Yeah. Let me see. You're probably confused right now. Well, Kenji's younger sister is actually the wing woman of their relationship. Ione adores Kenji's younger sister as much as he adores Hinata from Karasuno, so, using this advantage and knowing her Uni-chan have a big fat crush on Ione, she became the bridge of this relationship. Well, let us not discredit Futakuka who almost crapped himself while trying to confess to Ione. OMG he really did. I know, now get out of my room. Jeez, okay. And tell mom that Ione's coming over. Excuse me, your boyfriend, your responsibility. Ichigo walks out of the room with sassy footsteps, earning an eye roll from her older brother. Kenji stands up from his bed and walks out of his room to tell his mother that Ione is coming over. He runs down the stairs, sprinting through every flight of it. Mom, Dad. Kenji walks towards the kitchen and sees his parents cooking dinner together. What do you want? Geez, chill, I just wanted to tell you that Takenobu is coming over. Oh, he is he sleeping over? Dunno, probably. If he is, don't do anything naughty, okay? Oh my gosh, Mom, your mind is so dirty. Your mom is naturally like that. The two male chuckles and Mrs. Futakuki, who's holding a wooden spatula, just rolls her eyes. Whatever, here, tell me if it needs more salt. Kenji walks towards his mom and waits for her to scoop up some soup and let him taste it. Mrs. Futakuki puts the spatula in front of Kenji and the latter slowly slurps the liquid on the utensil. Maybe a little? Okay, thank you, Kenji. Welcome. Kenji was about to go upstairs but was stopped by his father's voice. Wait, Kenji, here. Futakuki turns around and catches what his father gave him. Use it carefully. Kenji's brows furrowed and he looked at what's in his hand and his eyes widened. Oh my god, Mom, look at what Dad gave me. Kenji screams, acting like he has never seen a condom before. Mrs. Futakuki's eyes widened and started to violently smack her husband's arms. What the hell are you giving? Our son. Why, I'm just giving it to him in case of emergency. Kenji bursts out laughing and runs upstairs, saving himself from the terror of his mother. He walked inside his room and closed the door afterwards. He stops, and starts to catch his breath. Oh gosh, I need to work out more. He flops to his bed and he immediately springs back up when he realizes that he hasn't hidden his phone yet. Where do I hide it? He scans around his room, and then realizes that he doesn't need to pump his brain that much since there's a low possibility that Ione would find the camera. Fuck it, I'll just put it here. He grabs his phone and situated it directly in front of his bed on top of a little cabinet. He was still fixing the phone's position when he heard the doorbell ringing from downstairs. His eyes widened and he started to panic. How the fuck is he already here? He tries to do a last-minute floor swipe but it was too late. He can already hear Takenobu trying to communicate with his parents. He sprints to the corner of his room and grabs his volleyball, sprints to the other corner and quickly snatches the towel hanging on a chair and jumps on his bed. Just on time, the door creaks open and Kenji starts to clean his volleyball, wiping some non-existent dirt. Ione pushes the door open and he sees his boyfriend, calmly cleaning his volleyball, but, instead of walking inside, he just stood there, staring. Kenji continued to clean the ball, but he started to sweat aggressively in nervousness when Ione just stood there without moving while still staring at him. Why the fuck does it feel like he's the one doing the prank? Futakuki just couldn't hold it anymore and took a glance at his boyfriend. That's when his heart exploded. Ione was standing there, his arms stretched towards Kenji, as if he's asking for a hug. Okay, before we continue, let's rewind to the times when Ione comes over to the Futakuki residence. Whenever this tall guy would come over to his boyfriend's house, he either comes with his own free will or he gets asked, but it's usually the latter, so whenever he comes over, Kenji would always greet him with a hug, even before they started dating, so it started to become a habit, not just when Ione is coming over to Kenji's house. When Futakuki is the first one in the gym because Ione was asked by the teachers to run some errands, Kenji would always greet the taller boy with a hug when he walks inside the gym or the club room. Hey Ione. He failed the challenge, but he couldn't care less. Hug. A pouty expression and puppy eyes grew on Kenji's face and he immediately ran towards Ione, wrestling his way through his thick blankets, Aone's feeling of confusion was replaced with shock when Kenji suddenly jumps towards the taller boy. Taka. Futakuki hugs his boyfriend and Aone, being Aone himself, just hugs the almost crying boy back. Yes. Kenji sniffed a little and pulled back from the hug. Aone tilts his head to the side with a worried expression. Are you okay? Why are you crying? Futakuka sniffed once again before lunging his face on Aone's face once again. Eventually, Kenji forgot that his phone was still recording, so the camera basically recorded the lovebirds cuddling with each other. AranKita. Kita sighs to himself and looks at his phone, which is now displaying Aran's contact. As much as possible, Kita wants to call his friends. Rather than talking to them through text, everyone in the team, especially Aran, has been so used to this, and they always try to make it a thing where they always stick to their phones since they don't know when Kita-san will suddenly just call. Kita was about to dial his boyfriend/best friend's number when he heard a knock on his door. Shinsuke. It was his older sister. Yes, Wana-san? The door slides open, revealing a girl who's carrying a stack of books. Can you help me with these? Kitten nods and stands up from the mattress and walks to his sister. He grabs half of the stack and carries it to his room by the instructions of his sister. He placed the books under his cabinet and his sister placed the other stack beside where he placed them. What are these? Books. Do you mind being specific? Oh right, these are thriller books. I thought you might like them since I'm about to go to college and I don't think I'll have time to read fiction books anymore. Shinsuke looks at the stacks of books and then to his sister, who was smiling at him. Thank you, Wana-san. Kita smiles and his sister grins even more. You're welcome. She leaves the room and Kita immediately starts to scan the books. He and his sister love thriller and psychological books. First, it was just his older sister, then he got slowly influenced when he first read The Silent Patient. He grins as he goes through all the books and he suddenly jumps on his seat when he remembers that he was supposed to call his boyfriend. He crawls towards his phone and immediately dials Aran's number without any hesitation. After a few rings, Aran answers the call. Shinsuke, you called? Yeah. Why, you have something to say? Nah, I just wanted to ask you if you wanted to come over. Kita frowns when he hears Aran choking and coughing on the other line. Aran, are you okay? Kita says in a worried tone. Yeah, I was just drinking water and it went up my nose. Be careful next time, okay? Yeah. So, you were saying, do you want to come over? Oh sure. Kita sighs and lightly pouts to himself. It's fine if you don't want to come over, don't force yourself. Wait, no, I do want to come over. Really? Then why do you sound so unsure? Yeah, it's been a while since I came over, so, kinda nervous. Kita giggles and Aran is pretty sure his heart just skipped a beat. Don't be, so are you coming over right now? Oh yeah, sure, let me just take a bath, okay, see you. See you too, Shinsuke. Kita hangs up the phone, stands up, and walks out of the room to tell his grandmother that his boyfriend is coming over. He walks around the hall, then towards the patio where his grandmother is sitting, while petting the family cat and dog. Good evening, Oba-san. Oh, Shin-chan. When the old woman said Shinsuke's name, the dog immediately perked its ears up and ran towards him with his tongue dangling. Kita smiles and carries the pet and starts to pet it. The cat just stayed in Grandma Kita's arms, still purring and sleeping. Kita sat beside her and they both stared into the deep dark sky. The gods are very joyful tonight. Kita looked at his grandmother, then looked back at the sky and noticed that there are a lot of stars tonight. Oba-san. Yes. Aran is coming over. Oh, he is, I should prepare something then. No, it's fine, we're just gonna hang out in my room. Oh okay. She smiles and Kitten knows that she's lying. 10 minutes after Aran arrives, she'll probably start preparing some snacks for the both of them. Kita stays for a bit, just chatting with his grandma, caressing the pets. And then he stands up and goes back to his room. He closed the door and almost lunged himself on the stack of books. Outside of volleyball, reading books is his favorite hobby. He doesn't really like rom-coms that much since he finds them cringy. He scans all of the books and picks out 3 books that he's going to read for the rest of the month. He was about to start reading when he suddenly remembered the prank. Oh crap. He slightly panics and takes out his video cam recorder from his cabinet. He doesn't use his phone for recording things. He stands up and tries to look for a place to hide the device. He looked around his room and his eyes landed on his little bookshelf. It was already filled with lots of books, so the other books that his sister gave him can't fit in. Kita carried the stacks of books which were under his cabinet and then carried them beside the bookshelf. He situated the camcorder on top of the shelf and then covered it with the other books. He looks at it from afar and he smiles at how natural the placement of the books looks, but of course, it irked his insides that it looks so messy, so he tidied it up a little. He's really not into pranks and all that. But he needs some fun from time to time, not that playing volleyball with his teammates isn't fun, he just wants to socialize and maybe blend in. But he's not forcing himself to do this, he really does enjoy how Aran reacts to the pranks he does. He grabs a book from the same shelf, stands up, goes to his study table, sits on the chair, and starts reading. The plan was to ignore Aran, so obviously he won't be able to greet him on the door when he arrives. After 20 minutes, Kita kept on reading and finally, someone rings the doorbell and he hears his grandmother and Aran talking to each other. His eyes perked up and he quickly ran to his video cam recorder, which will be facing his back, pressed the record button, went back to his seat, and continued reading. After a few moments, Kita hears the door sliding open. Shinsuke, Aran says, but Kita ignores him. Kita can't see it, but Aran is furrowing his brows in utter confusion. Aran slowly closed the door, scanning the room as he did. He knows that Kita is not the type to just suddenly ignore a person, but with the influence of the twins, he doesn't think so anymore. Shinsuke, love. Kita's shoulders perked up for a second in shock. They rarely call each other pet names and the closest they got to that is with babe. Aran's usually the one that uses other pet names such as baby and sweetheart, but somehow, love just hits differently for Kita. Aran slowly walked his way to Kita and peeked through his shoulder and saw that he was reading a book. He doesn't know if he's going to bombard him or just let him enjoy his solitude. 15 minutes in, and it's just Aran contemplating whether he should try to grab Kita's attention or not, and Kita being completely immersed with the book. Aran sighs and he suddenly remembers something that the twins told him. Flashback. Aran. What do you two want? We just have something to say to ya. What is it? Do ya want to know how to make Kita-san notice ya? No. Did ya mean yes? No. Okay, you meant yes. I literally said no. Great, so what ya do is. Etsumu raises his hand to the side and Osamu pokes his palm. Ya kiss him. Excuse me, are ya telling me that you two kissed Shinsuke? On the cheeks? Yeah, and we kissed Rin too. Ya mean, ya kissed Rin? Shut your trap, Sumu. Hey, that's my phrase. No, it's not. End of flashback. Aran can mostly remember how the twins argued because Etsumu basically told Aran that his brother has a big fat crush on Suna, but he does remember the kiss him on the cheek part, and so he did. Chuyo. Yeah. He fails the challenge. Who cares? His boyfriend, who rarely does shits like this, suddenly kisses him on the cheek. Oh, I'm sorry, did I disturb you? No, you are. There was an awkward silence between the two of them for a moment, That was broken by the sound of Kita laughing. Shinsuke, did the twins teach you that? Aran blushes and his eyes go wide open. No. Kita laughs even harder and he stands up from his seat and hugs Aran. You're so cute. Aran puffs into a red tomato and Kita laughs even more. Basically, what happened is, Kita tells Aran that it was supposed to be a prank. They watched the video recording, and then proceeded to read the same book while eating the snacks Grandma Kita had prepared, and Aran eventually slept over. Hello again, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I'm gonna try to post the last part as soon as possible, and after that, I'll start my Dejaga series. I love y'all, Red Heart.